This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Where we want to educate you about our market, empower you to make wise decisions, and help you engage with our expert contributors. This week, you want to talk about a couple of communities down near the Strip. One, and I'm familiar with both these communities, and I've actually done some sales in them. One is the Scotch 80s.
Yay!
Scotch 80s.
I've heard of this neighborhood.
Scotch 80s.
Scotch 80s.
Scotch 80s.
Yeah.
And McNeil Estates.
And McNeil Estates, yes. And McNeil is an interesting community. The thing that intrigues me about McNeil is that about 10 years ago, a bunch of the kids who grew up in McNeil went back and bought their parents' homes and started renovating them.
Oh, interesting.
There's a handful of kids who went back there and bought their parents' homes and started renovating them.
Yeah. So Scotch 80s
Tell us about Scotch 80s.
Built between the 50s and 60s, and it borders Charleston, Oakey area, kind of west of the 15. And it's a historic neighborhood. We like to call it vintage Vegas.
And historic in Vegas doesn't have to be that old. Your 50s and 60s is historic here.
Scotch 80s is mostly single stories, half-acre lots. Kind of feels a little rural. It's got that old town feel.
Yeah. Okay.
And then McNeil is, much larger area, still in that area.
Right.
And
the Scotch 80s gated?
No.
No.
But there are some homes, just due to sheer size, that they are gated off.
Within the community.
Within the community.
Yes, they're like compounds, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, they're much bigger.
I mean, are we finding these are the old casino executives would go and buy stuff there? And,
Indeed.
Because it's close to the Strip.
Mobsters.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's our mayor probably still lives in the Scotch 80s.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
famous poker players, Peggy Learson, I think.
Okay.
So you're seeing a lot of people gravitate towards both these areas just because they're not cookie cutter and because of location.
Yeah.
Super convenient to downtown, so you kind of have old school mixed with new school.
Right.
And you're minutes from the Strip and the airport.
Yeah, easy commutes. If you're working on the Strip, it's great. It's very, very convenient. I mean...
home values have been strong in there, haven't they, recently?
Extremely strong. I mean, high price points, like high per square foot. You're seeing, well over $250, almost $300.
Yep.
And there is a section in McNeil, because McNeil is divided into different, there's 5 different little subdivisions within that. And they do have a small off Cashman is they're custom estates.
Okay.
Half acres. But yeah, you're seeing pretty high price points. But when people go in there and they redo them, if they're not redoing them to enhance that mid-century look,
Right.
the people that are gravitating and want to strictly buy in there, they won't purchase that home because they've changed it too much. They want the elements of the 1950s and 60s.
I think you really don't want to mess with the exterior hardly at all. You want to just clean it up, make it neat and tidy, and then inside you can certainly modernize in terms of what you're adding in terms of appliances and homes, and smart home items and things of that nature. But you also want to kind of keep that feel of the interior as well. You don't want to...
Like the lava rock and the old gold ornate fixtures.
Yeah.
I think we're cycling back around to that.
Actually, if I'm doing one down there, I'm probably bringing a designer in to make sure I don't mess up too bad, because it could cost you money. It could cost you money, ultimately, on a resale.
In the devaluing of the property.
Exactly. You may think you're improving it, but actually you're taking away that history. So you're going so far away from the history that you could be doing some damage. Like Danielle said, some people won't even touch them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it needs to be very well thought out.
Yep.
And then when you're redoing, a 1950s home, you got to look at the electrical and the plumbing.
Right.
And, there's more to look at it, because if you're truly going to, just flip it, I mean, that's what a lot of investors are doing, but I think that you need to really spend more time and sell a solid house that...
Yeah, you don't want to facelift flip.
You don't want to put a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Las Vegas Real Estate Now. If you ever have a question about real estate or any of the other topics we cover, just call me off air or text me at 702-203-1165. You can also check us out on the web at lvrealestateradio.com or on our handle on social media at LV Real Estate Radio. We'll meet you on the radio next Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on the new 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON, the Talk of Las Vegas.